So day 6 of Packers training camp just ended, and today I want to start off by looking at a few things that Matt LaFleur had to say in his press conference before today's training camp practice that gave a few different insights into what Matt LaFleur is thinking when it comes to a few position battles and a few things that have happened the past few days in practice. So first off, from Ryan Wood at @RyanWood on Twitter, Packers coach Matt LaFleur's thoughts on Jordan Love's first practice. I thought it started a little slow and it picked up at the end. I think it shows the value of practice. And if you guys watched my recap video yesterday from Jordan Love's first day of practice, he started off, I think it was about 1 for 8, clearly very rusty. His first practice, the Packers' first padded practice, but by the end of practice, it was the Jordan Love that we've all gotten used to over the past season, was playing really, really well. And so I think it's to be expected for a guy who had been sitting out practice to start off a little bit slow. Then another one from Ryan Wood asked Matt LaFleur if he addressed fighting with his team after a few scuffles in yesterday's first practice in pads. Quote, every day, end of quote. He makes a point to say assistant coaches have to fall in line with that too. And of course, you don't want guys getting so heated in practice where, they're constantly problems, but I think it's to be expected in the NFL that when you're out there playing tackle football, flying around, that there's going to be scuffles from time to time, but clearly, you want to keep that to a minimum among teammates. Then from Tom Silverstein, Packers coach Matt LaFleur said he goes over scuffles and over aggressive play every day with the players and shows them plays that are no-nos. Said he's concerned with injuries occurring during scuffles and said there's a fine line between being aggressive and overdoing it. Then from Rob Demovsky, for the second straight summer, all players are staying together in the same hotel during training camp. Although vets will check out early, LaFleur said it's helpful for everyone to, quote, go through something miserable together. So I guess that's some team bonding there with all those guys staying in a hotel and the vets get out early. Not sure how much earlier they get out. But I think that's obviously good when, the more the players are around each other, the more that you build that team chemistry, which helps, I think, teams get farther when, you're that much closer to your teammates. Then here from Bill Huber, I'm really excited. This is from Matt LaFleur. Quote, I'm really excited about Bullard and Williams, LaFleur says. Likes how they've performed and how they've handled the playbook part of it. It's a competition on who will play with McKinney. And Evan Williams has made some nice plays. You'll see a little later in this video, Evan Williams intercepted a pass, I think it was from Sean Clifford. But it really does sound like right now there is a safety battle on, for that second safety spot next to Xavier McKinney, because there's no doubt Xavier McKinney becoming the fourth highest paid safety in the NFL by the Green Bay Packers. He is the veteran guy now in this Packers safety room. The Packers safety room last year was one of the probably worst positions on this Packers team, the most inconsistent, I would say. And the Packers made a lot of investment this offseason by signing Xavier McKinney in free agency, then drafting Javon Bullard in round 2, Evan Williams in round 4. And then Ryan Wood says, after repping at tackle an offseason program, Jordan Morgan has almost been exclusively guarding camp. Matt LaFleur on his positional fit, quote, I think he's starting to feel more and more comfortable inside, but I think he's talented enough that we can kick him outside if need be. And after the Packers drafted Jordan Morgan, he was a tackle during his time in college, and Brian Gutekunst shared in his post-draft press conference that he believed Jordan Morgan could play guard or tackle. And starting off throughout OTAs and minicamp, Jordan Morgan was getting some reps at tackle, and I was wondering if he could potentially beat out Rasheed Walker at left tackle. But so far in training camp, we have pretty much only seen Jordan Morgan at guard, and it really sounds like, from Matt LaFleur's quote here, that seems to be the plan with Jordan Morgan, is for him to play guard. And now we'll see. It is only day 6 of training camp. Maybe the Packers try Morgan at tackle in the future. But it sounds right now that the plan is to have him at guard, and if he needs to go outside, maybe if there's an injury, then they can do that in that situation. Then from Bill Huber, Josh Myers is back after missing past couple days for personal reasons. Day off for Elton Jenkins. Zane Anderson, knee injury. Deslin Alexander, lower leg. And Keyshawn Banks, groin, new to injury report. Then from Mike Spofford, rookie second-round linebacker Edgerrin Cooper has been getting more reps here and there with the number 1 defense. A storyline to continue monitoring. In the second round, players drafted this past year, Javon Bullard and Edgerrin Cooper. Clearly, I think the Packers' hope is that they can be solid starters in 2024, but they are rookies, and you never know how long it takes for a guy to develop and grow and be ready for that role. But my guess would be, if not right around the season starts, a little bit later, that Edgerrin Cooper and Javon Bullard will work themselves into the starting lineup, and we'll keep an eye on that, those two players. Then Wes Hodquist, I ain't Larry, but I thought Jordan Morgan had 2 solid reps while playing guard against Devonte Wyatt in one-on-ones. Colby Wooden showed power and burst against Tenuta. And so I think for the Packers, to make that first-round investment in Jordan Morgan, I think that you expect him to come in his first year and play some valuable snaps on the offensive line. And my guess would be by week 1, Jordan Morgan is starting somewhere on the offensive line, probably at guard based on what we've seen so far. Then from Andy Herman at Andy Herman NFL on Twitter, Jair, fantastic coverage on Wicks and team, incomplete from Love. Gary crashes through the line for a run stop on Dillon behind the line. And Rashawn Gary has consistently just been dominating, but I think it's to be expected. We've seen what he can do for his time here so far in Green Bay. Bullard all over a toss outside to Dillon. Dillon gave him a good stiff arm to pick up a few extra yards. And A.J. Dillon, if you haven't seen pictures of him, looks a lot thinner than he did last year. He's a pretty massive guy, and clearly this offseason his goal seemed to be to lose some weight and to become a little bit more a little smaller than he was last season. I'm curious to see how that translates to his play style, because he clearly looks much different than last year. And I think for him, it's a big year for him because, with his 1-year deal in Green Bay, depending on how he plays this year, it's going to factor into his future in the NFL, whether he stays with the Packers or if another team out there wants to sign him on. And so it's a big year for him, and he has to, I think, make some positive strides forward if he wants to get another contract somewhere else. And so we'll see. I'm curious to see how that, his new physique will translate to his play style. We'll see. Then from Ryan Wood, a soaring interception for Carrington Valentine, leaping in front of Malik Heath to intercept a Sean Clifford pass on the left sideline. Valentine keeps making plays in camp. And going into camp, it seemed like there would be competition at corner between Valentine and Eric Stokes. And so far, Eric Stokes has also played well. I haven't really seen too much negative information come out about either Valentine or Stokes. Most of it has been pretty positive. But so far, it seems that Stokes is still taking those number 1 reps. We'll see if Carrington Valentine can take over there. But so far, it seems like Stokes is staying in that role. But Valentine, obviously, during the season, there's going to be injuries, and it helps that the Packers have some depth, and I think that Valentine is a solid depth piece at corner. Then from Andy Herman, Pratt, nice little out route to Julian Hicks. Nice anticipation from 17. Quay all over an outside toss to Jacobs. Nixon is really doing a nice job as a run defender and nickel. Makes a stop on an inside Jacobs run. Interesting first-team rep with only Nixon and Jair on the field as corners. And I feel like we haven't seen quite as much about Michael Pratt, just looking at these reporters. There at least has not been as much negatives when you compare it to, Sean Clifford, who seemed to enter camp as the leader when it came to winning the backup job. I just assumed with him having a year in Green Bay, he probably had the upper hand on Pratt to start off. But considering how much Sean Clifford has struggled, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Pratt is maybe pushing himself closer, if not overtaking Sean Clifford. We'll keep an eye on that backup battle. Then Wes Hodquist, Packers mix it up today, having Carlson and Joseph alternate kicks. Both go 3 for 3 from 44, 47, and 50. And so far throughout camp in these 6 practices, it seems that Carlson and Joseph are pretty close to each other, and then James Turner seems to have missed a few more field goals than them. My guess would be, from what we've seen so far, the Packers, I think, would want Carlson to be their kicker because they did invest draft capital in him, and you probably want to stick with the guy that you decided to actually draft. But so far, they seem to be pretty close to each other in this kicker battle. Andy Herman, Wicks with a beautiful slant versus Stokes, and Love hits him in stride for a nice pickup, probably around 15 through 18. So it looks like Wicks beats Stokes there. Love escapes pressure, rolls right, hits Dobbs, but it's out of bounds. Jair with illegal contact on the play against Dobbs. And then Nixon all over an out route to Wicks. Wicks could have had it, but bounces off his hands. It was a diving catch attempt. Nixon's coverage has been improved and noticeable. So the Packers brought back Nixon, 3-year, I think it's an $18 million deal. He's going to be the slot corner, and it looks like he's taking strides forward, according to Andy Herman, which is awesome. Then from Paul Brettel, starting offensive line with Jenkins on veteran rest. Rasheed Walker, left tackle. Sean Ryan, left guard. Josh Myers, center. Jordan Morgan, right guard. Kadeem Telfort, right tackle. And in the past couple of days, with Josh Myers out for personal reasons, Elgton Jenkins had been taking those center snaps, but he was out today because of the veteran rest day, and so that means that he's not playing at left guard. Instead, that's Sean Ryan there. And then Zach Tom still not playing in team sessions, and so that's why Telfort is starting there over Zach Tom, who's still dealing with that or coming back from that pec injury. And I'm curious to see, as this offensive line continues to figure itself out, it seems like Rasheed Walker has that left tackle job pretty much won. I would guess that Jenkins is left guard, Josh Myers center, Zach Tom right tackle. And the one position I'm curious to watch is Sean Ryan at right guard or Jordan Morgan at right guard. Will Jordan Morgan, as a first rounder, be able to overtake Sean Ryan at right guard? Because in the past couple weeks, or in the past week or so, Sean Ryan had been starting out at right guard, and then Jordan Morgan came in. So we'll keep an eye on Jordan Morgan and see if he can become that Packers starting right guard. And then Paul Brettel continues. Dillard again worked in at right tackle for Telfort. So Dillard started right tackle to start training camp, but struggled, and Telfort came in there. And then Tenuta getting some right guard reps with the twos. And then here from Andy Herman, Devonte Wyatt is such a freak, chasing down Sean Clifford to the sidelines. His movement at his size is so fun. And Devonte Wyatt made a lot of nice plays last year, especially when it comes to rushing the passer. And in this new Jeff Hafley defense, it sounds like he's going to have some more opportunity. And so he's making some plays. Then from Wes Hodquist, had 2 coverage sacks for Lucas Van Ness as Packers secondary giving no quarter and twos. And I feel like Lucas Van Ness is a guy who could take a jump coming into his second year as the Packers continue to hopefully see an improved defense with Jeff Hafley. Then Andy Herman, Jaden Reed beats Nixon on a deep crosser, a play that's worked well today. McKinney with a conversation with Nixon following the play. Rashawn Gary with another insta-sack. Ho-hum, just another day. Then from Ryan Wood, Packers rookie Kalen King steps in front of a Jordan Love pass intended for Christian Watson, and he takes it the other way. Not a pick six. Love cut him off before end zone, but impressive play for the 7th round rookie. And Kalen King, he's a guy I think we have to keep our eye on. I don't think he's necessarily going to be a starter here, but we've talked about him on this channel with him dropping from being projected a first round selection a year prior if he would have gone into the draft. And then now to this past draft, going in the 7th round, you could tell listening to his post-draft interview that clearly that sort of stoked a fire in him, falling all the way to the 7th round, and it sounds like he has been making a lot of nice plays, especially today, picking off Jordan Love as a 7th round rookie, not too bad. And he has been taking some reps with the slot corners per some of these reporters. And so, Keyshawn Nixon clearly has that role right now, but maybe in the next couple of years, Kalen King can work into that role, potentially. Then Andy Herman says Joseph goes 1 for 1. He's at 15 for 16. Carlson goes 0 for 1. He's at 14 for 16. Again, no Turner today. He stands at 12 for 18. Then from Andy Herman, 2-minute drill for the twos. 1st and 10 at the 30. 1 minute and 5 seconds. 1 timeout. Clifford immediately throws a pick to Evan Williams. A nightmare offseason for Clifford continues. So I haven't kept track of the total amount of Clifford interceptions, but it feels super high. Like it really feels like it could be around 10 so far. Maybe it's less than that. I don't have an exact number, but day after day, it seems like Sean Clifford is struggling. And so, as I said earlier, it could be that Michael Pratt is making some headway and pushing himself into that potential backup role with how poorly Sean Clifford has played so far in practices and training camp. And Evan Williams, who is fighting for that other safety spot, picking him off. Then from Andy Herman, he has a list here of different plays. Same scenario for the ones. Down 2, 1st and 10 at on 30. 1 minute and 5 on the clock. 1 timeout. Royce Newman in at right guard with the ones for Morgan. Love throws 23 yards on a great throw and juggling catch by Wicks. 29 in coverage. Wicks got out 2. Love hits Jacobs in stride, who picks up 5 and gets out. Mosby all over a screen to Jacobs. Screen game continues to be a nightmare. It's not great. Timeout offense, 3rd and 7 coming up. Ball at opposing 45. 47 seconds left. Offsides defense makes it 3rd and 2. Love hits Dillon for a first, but it's an illegal formation. Back to 3rd and 7. 39 seconds left. Love completes to Love for fit for 5, 4th and 2. Love throws to Musgrave down the sidelines, but Musgrave stopped, was an ad-lib play, and Love had all day. Defense wins. So the defense wins that period, but Love had some nice plays there. Throwing to Wicks, throwing to, who else was it? Josh Jacobs. Then we have from Wes Hodquist, King breaks up a pass for Wayne. He's had a nice day. So Wes Hodquist also noting what Kalen King did today at practice. And then Paul Brittle sums it up here. Kalen King with an interception and pass breakup today. He's been spending individual reps in slot, but during teams, seeing some boundary time as well. So they're also trying him on the outside, and maybe, depending on injuries this season, he could see time at outside or slot corner if there's injuries. And then Wes Hodquist, good out ball from Pratt to Wayne on 3rd and 10, good for 12. And then Andy Herman says, a beautiful drive from Pratt to set up a game-winning field goal. So just from all that I've seen from reporters so far, it sounds like Pratt is looking better than Sean Clifford. And then to end it, Bill Huber says, both of the vet kickers go 5 for 6. Practice ends as they both hit from 55. So all in all, it seems that today, some of the biggest takeaways, Love seemingly, just from reading all these tweets, had a nice day, maybe threw an interception or 2. I'm honestly not too concerned about, whatever we see here from Love out of training camp. We know the kind of quarterback he is. We know the kind of quarterback the Packers believe he is, giving him $220 million the other day on a 4-year deal. So I don't take, too much when it comes to Jordan Love's play because I think we know the kind of player he is. I think this season is much more important than random training camp practices, but still seems to be playing mostly good. And then Kalen King having a big day, which is cool to see for the 7th rounder. Sean Clifford, not looking too great. And, until Jordan Love came into practice on Saturday, the defense had been winning most days. But since he's come back, it seems that the defense is not dominating at quite the same level as which they had been when it was Sean Clifford and Michael Pratt solely out there, and Jacob Eason as well. So those are the updates for today. If you want more Packers content, make sure you turn on the post notifications so you don't miss any news. You can also follow me on Twitter at LukeBeller3, and I'll see you guys next time.